everyone, I'm Miss Lizzie and I'm here to bring you a winter craft program here at the Drake Library. And you guys loved our fall craft so much that I thought we'd do some fun winter ones for the winter season. So the first craft to start off this program is going to be a hibernating bear craft. This is really cute. It's pretty simple and I thought this one was really fun and different. For the winter season. So some of the things that you'll need are some popsicle sticks. I have some big ones here, the jumbo ones, which I think work really great for this, but if you want to do a smaller version, then you can absolutely use the small popsicle sticks. And so you'll need 3 of those. I have a paintbrush. This is a foam paintbrush. Any paintbrush will work. I just have a foam one, and then I have some brown paint. This is tempera paint because it's washable, which is always great, but again, any brown paint will do if you're feeling bold and you use maybe non-washable acrylic paint or something like that, absolutely, but I like washable. You'll need some glue. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using a hot glue gun just because it works faster, but regular glue is perfectly fine. You'll just have to wait for it to dry, so maybe if you're prepping this ahead of time, any of the adults, you can hot glue it, or if you don't want to wait for the glue to dry, you can do maybe this half at night and then you can finish the craft in the morning, but you can absolutely use this glue. I have a Sharpie and a pencil for tracing, some cotton balls, which you really only need a few of them. They're just for some snow decoration, so again, optional if you don't have them. If not, you only need a few. And then this is completely optional as well. I have some leaves that I cut out to decorate with. Again, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, it's fun. You can also buy these at Michael's or any craft store. They usually sell little leaf kind of scrapbook accessories, and those would work great, but you can always make your own or opt out. And then I have some construction paper. I have some gray and some brown. The gray uses the background and the brown is used for our bear. Now again, if you want to make your bear pink or green or whatever, that's completely up to you. Same if you want to paint the cave in a different color than brown, completely up to you. You can do whatever you want, but that's just what I'm using today. So to start, we're going to be gluing our popsicle sticks together. And we're going to glue them into a triangle. So we're just kind of going to put them together to make a triangle shape. And again, I'm using hot glue just so everything goes a bit quicker, but you absolutely don't have to. And I'm just kind of seeing, when I lay it flat, kind of the width that it needs to be. I'm going the full extension of each stick, if that makes sense. So it just kind of forms an even triangle. And there you go. So if you're using regular glue, then you want this to dry. But since I'm using hot glue, we're good to go. And then next, we're going to paint this because this is going to be kind of the base of our cave. So I'm going to put my paint on a paper plate. And I have a piece of scrap paper here to kind of paint on so I don't get it on the table. I always think that's a good idea. And I'm just going to paint the popsicle sticks. You only have to paint one side. You can paint the whole thing if you'd like, but you really only have to do one side. And that could just be the side that's shown, just to make it a little bit easier so you don't have to wait for kind of both sides to dry. And you can kind of estimate this yourself depending on how many coats of paint you want. I don't mind the one. I think it kind of gives it a nice look. But if you wanted this to dry and then do another coat, that's totally fine. So we're left with this, a nice brown triangle. And then this is the part where you have to wait for it to dry, unfortunately. So I'm going to set that aside, and I did one yesterday for the purpose of this, so we can do it. So this is what it looks like dry, and this was one coat, so I think that came out pretty good, but again, if you're using a different color, it might be different, or depending on the type of paint you have. So next, more gluing. We're going to glue some cotton balls, and this is going to be our snow. So basically, I'm going to line the bottom of the cave and put a little more up top, so that way it looks like snow. You can stick whole cotton balls on if you want, but also what looks great is if you separate them and kind of make it pieces of snow, and then you don't have to use as much. Like that was one cotton ball, and it more than enough fills the bottom, and that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to glue that on as well. And again, I'm using hot glue so we can move right along. I'm just kind of, really no rhyme or reason. This is really fun for kids because of all the different elements. The gluing, the cutting, which will come later, painting, the shapes. If you wanted to make a different shape, if maybe he wants to be in a circle cave and you wanted to do it out of pipe cleaners or something like that, that could be really great. Or you know, a square cave, do lots of different shapes, talk about the different shapes, that's also really great. I'm just going to add one more little piece in the end. And so the bottom looks like this. There's our snow covered cave, and I'm going to assume that there's some snow on top of the cave, so I'm going to add some snow right up top, like that. Ta-da! And you could do the whole outline of the cave if you wanted to. I like showing some of the paint work, but again, you know, if your little one wants to cover it completely, then that's fine. And then even if you want to do that, you can even skip the step of painting and skip that little bit of mess. So once I have that, now we're going to put the bear inside. So I have this gray construction paper, and this is just a background. So again, the color of this doesn't matter too much, just as long as it is a different color than the bear. So I'm going to trace the triangle because you want it to be the same size of the triangle so we can see it through the center triangle. So I'm going to just trace the center with my pencil. If you want to do this before gluing as well, you totally can, but it works fine if you don't. And so I have a triangle shape, and then I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger just so we can glue it to the back. So I have my scissors here, and I'm just going to cut the triangle out. And again, great craft to do with for fine motor skills if you have a young one who's just starting to use scissors, or if not, this can be the step for maybe an older child or the adult. And again, trying to cut the shape, really, really great for their fine motor skills. And like I said, I'm just going a little bit bigger than what I traced. So I don't know if you can see the line. I went a little bit over the line, so we can glue it on and it'll fit. Ta-da! Great, but first I'm going to put the bear on. So for the bear, I'm going to freehand this. Feel free if you find a template if you want to do that. If the adult wants to be the one to freehand and then the child can cut, or if you want to pre-cut all of this, that's totally fine. But basically I'm just going to do a semicircle and then a circle with little ears. So it's as simple as that. It's going to be big enough that it fits in the triangle. So I'm just freehanding a semicircle, and you could even do this without tracing if you're really good with scissors. I don't trust myself enough. And little ears. So I'm left with that. and I'm going to cut them out. This is a great beginning of winter craft because that's when, right when animals start to hibernate. So it's great to teach them all about hibernation as well if they're interested. But this is, you know, this can just be a really fun craft. And feel free, we're doing this with a bear, but if you want to do other animals, if you want to do maybe a raccoon, or other animals that hibernate for the winter. Maybe if you want to do a little squirrel and maybe put some nuts in it, that's a great idea, and you can have lots of different animals. That's really cute. So there's my head. This ear looks a bit strange, so I'm going to fix it. And so you're left with this, and so it's going to be like the bear sleeping. So I'm going to glue these to the triangle, and I'm going to glue the body, which is the semicircle, right down on the edge of the triangle, so the bottom of him lines up like that. And then I'm going to put the head just slightly on top, so we see a little bit of his body. There we go. This is also recommend doing this with regular glue because then you get the hot glue springs everywhere and it's not as nice. So we have this. Now all we have to do is put a face on it. And this is really fun for the kids to kind of draw what they think that their bear looks like or what they want their bear to look like. I'm going to make mine asleep. Draw little sleepy eyes. And just kind of give him nose, mouth. I'm going to give him little ear outlines too. So I have this. This is what my bear looks like. I'm sure yours will look much better. And he can be happy. He can be, you know, if you want to draw him awake, that's fine too. So now, we're going to glue him into his cave. So I'm just going to glue the outline of the popsicle sticks. And then just press down. Ta-da! Now you have your bear in his little cave. And I have these leaves to decorate. Again, these are optional. I'm going to put them on top of the snow. I ran out of hot glue, which is fine because I can use regular glue. And now I don't have to wait for everything else to dry. So I'm just going to kind of put them on, really no rhyme or reason to it. And there it is. There's your little hibernating bear, and if you want, I think instead of leaves you could do glitter. I think that would look really nice on the snow. You could color it if you wanted to, or you don't have to touch it at all. And again, if you didn't want to put snow on there, you could just glue the leaves to the wood, or you could paint it a different color. Whatever you prefer. And this is what the finished product is. If you wanted to attach something to the back, maybe you could hang it on the wall. I think that would look so great. If you wanted to hang it on the tree, if you celebrate Christmas and you want to put it on a Christmas tree, or if you just wanted to have it, here it is. And I think this is a really cute craft. I think it's really fun. I think it's really simple, but still, add some variety, something a little different to the winter crafts, and it can be very educational. Now with that, I want to talk about some books that we have if you want to pair some books with it. So we have a lot of picture books on bears and bears going into hibernation. So one of my favorites is Kevin Hanks' Old Bear. Now you might know Kevin Hanks, he writes Chrysanthemum. Um, he has a lot of different books. He's most famous for his Chrysanthemum book. So he has a book called Old Bear, and this is a really, really cute, pretty easy picture book, not too many words per page, about a bear who is hibernating for the winter, and he's dreaming of all the different seasons. So there's fall, winter, and what the world looks like when he looks up. So this one is, or wakes up. This one's really cute. We also have a book called Micah, The Bear Who Didn't Want to Sleep. This is by Eric Craik. I really like this book as well. This is more of a wordy picture book. It's really detailed. The pictures are really beautiful. This one's about a bear who doesn't want to hibernate, but it's really great because he goes along the forest. He really wants to see the northern lights. And he goes through the forest and he meets so many different animals, like an owl, a crane, a wolverine, and he talks about, what they do in winter, and they kind of say what they do. The birds have to fly south and all the different things, and explains why they hibernate. And so I think this one's really great. This is a really great book that's still story, but also has some great educational dialogue in it. And then of course we have, this is a nonfiction book. This is called Do Not Disturb, The Mysteries of Animal Hibernation and Sleep by Marjorie Facklum. This is great, especially with older kids. This is kind of a really detailed description of different animals hibernating. There's a whole section just on bears right at the beginning, why they do it, where they do it. Very informational. It's a nonfiction book. And like I said, we do have a lot of bear stories in the picture book section about bears who hibernate. And so feel free to look at our catalog if you want to check any out, or check any of these books out that I just showed you if you want to do them, to read them along with this craft, which I always think is a great idea. And then you have a story to go along with your little craft, and you can learn something great while building fine motor skills. So thank you so much for joining me in this winter craft, and please send me any photos or videos or anything like that on our Facebook page, or you can email me. You can find my email on the Drake It Library website, because I would love to see what you guys do and see how different your hibernating bears come out, and these are really, really cute. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in some of our later crafts. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.